Hello, 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 everyone. This is Disgruntled Elk coming back to you after a little bit of a hiatus. Had a lot of events happen kind of back to back, weekend off back to back. So I was mostly just kind of prepping between those events. But here we are. We're back. Don't have an event for a few weeks, so pretty happy about that. Take some time, hang out with the dog. But in the meantime, we tried some pretty, I guess, extreme changes, more to the sideboard than anything else. So, main board, pretty similar. We got the Forum Areas calls primarily for the Solitudes in the 75. 2 Forge Anew, that card just keeps impressing. It's just insane. 4 Ornithopters felt right. Memnite seems worse than ever, especially with Bowmaster running around. At least Esper Sentinel both pitches to Solitude as well as is, like, it's just a good card when you know your opponent doesn't Bowmaster it. And even then, you know, it's fine, whatever. I am up to 3 Givers. That is one notable change. And the reason I'm doing that is because 1-drop into 2-drop, usually Stoneforge Mystic, is good. But it is much better when it's like Giver of Runes into Drannith Magistrate or into Strict Proctor. Because being able to just hold up repeatable protection for these cards is just a really powerful thing. But yeah, so we're going to kind of jump into it. I'll touch on Strict Proctor a little bit. So people always worry about the non-bow with Strict Proctor, but let's be real, right? So the only real non-bows with that card are exactly, I mean, obviously Stoneforge. It kind of stinks that it costs 2, but usually you can go like Stoneforge on 2 into Proctor on 3. You can kind of sequence a little differently. So you have Stoneforge, right? Because the ETBs get countered. But if you have Cauldron in your hand already, or you already have something, just being able to Violin in can be reasonable. It's obviously not ideal, but I'm not saying it's perfect. The other card, of course, is, there you are, Sigardizade, right? This is the big quote-unquote Nambo people talk about. Oh, well, however, how will we ever equip a hammer with Sigardizade with Strict Proctor in play? The answer is you pay 2 mana. If you're casting the hammer, then pay 3 mana total. If it's coming off of a Urza Saga, then it's just 2. You kind of move on. But Strict Proctor does so much against the 4-color decks. Also it gets random splash damage against things like tribal decks, so like goblins, merfolk, humans, which not super relevant right now. But the fact that it is so good against 4-color, that's kind of where I landed on it. Cards is very good against 4-color. And being able to stop the ring trigger, because it is an ETB, is just pretty important. And so, yeah, with that, 10 basics, because I found that I just wasn't really cracking my canopy land very often. I'll just take the extra basic land and kind of go from there. To make room for the 3rd Giver, we did cut 1 Steel Shaper's Gift from the linear list and kind of go from there. I guess from my last video, we had 2 Solitude main, 2 sideboard. Right now, I think that against a lot of the decks, you can't afford to have just main deck removal. You just want to be very kind of aggressive, very to the point, very, you know, linear, like you can see right here. And so just optimizing your chances to go, you know, Steel Shaper's Gift is an extra hammer. It's kind of the 13th hammer between the 4 hammers, the 4 Stoneforge, and the 4 Urza Sagas. And so that's kind of where I land on it. I think Strict Proctor is quite good. I've been pretty happy with it against my testing against 4-color. If you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to play it. I just don't know kind of what your best option is in that slot. But we are going to jump in, run a league, and we will see how things go. Who knows? Maybe we just will literally never bring in the Proctors, and then we'll get to laugh together. One thing I did want to call out, because I have seen people being a little aggressive with siding this card in. You only want to board in Strict Proctor when it really affects just like a large swath of your opponent's cards. So like against 4-color, it affects their Evoke Elementals, it affects the Ring, it affects Omnath's ETB, as well as the landfall triggers, because this cares about all permanents, period. Just a note, it does not affect any sagas, because sagas are weird, and it doesn't count as an ETB. And so against 4-color, it's great. I wouldn't bring it in against decks where like the only thing it's hitting is the Ring and maybe Solitude. You definitely don't want to bring it in against Scam, because Scam is going to pressure you. It's going to race. And we do really care about our Sigardizades costing exactly 0 mana to trigger. So I don't like it against Scam, but I do like it against like the 4-color deck. I like it against Creativity. You'll notice there's no Orvars, but this does trigger, and it does help counter not only the Archon triggers, if that's what their package is, but it also counters the Dwarven Mind trigger unless they pay an additional 2. And keep in mind, these do stack, so if you get 2 of these into play, they just might like never make any make any dwarves. And it is also stopping Leyline Binding, of course. Leyline Binding is a lot less scary when it's 3, 4, 5 mana. Yeah, so just a quick disclaimer there. Only bring this in when it is an absolute knockout, because the dyssynergy in the Nambo in the deck is a real cost, and so you do want to consider that when you're deciding, okay, do I want to bring this card in? Do I not? Is it good enough? And you kind of go from there. But yeah, now we'll go ahead and see y'all in round 1. All right, and here we are for round 1. Let's go ahead. We won the die roll, so step 1. I mean, yeah, we have a we have a turn 2 Hammered Sentinel. Obviously, if they have a lot of interaction, then it's not great. But I'm just never throwing this hand back. Yeah, I have no idea what I would throw this hand. Yeah, so I'll lead with the Esper Sentinel, of course, mostly because then if they do have like a prismatic ending as the answer, then we get to at least draw a card, and they're less likely to prismatic just the Sentinel on 1. Whereas if we led with like Sigarda's Aid, then they could tag the Sigarda's Aid, and now we don't have an Equipper. Flagstones. So I saw Spike. He was playing like this Flagstone Suppression Field deck, and if it is a Solitude Ephemerate deck, we're gonna lose to that, and I'm okay with that. Oh, that's wow. So I'm going to go Yawgmoth, Aid, Hammer here, because if they have an answer, then they're gonna answer, you know, either Yawgmoth or Sentinel regardless. But usually these decks, forcing them to pitch to pitch their additional white cards is really good, because their white cards are usually also removal spells. Yep. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is going to be horrible for us. Okay, they did not have the Ephemerate, at least, so there's that. Now any hammers we find are live to kill them, but like I said, forcing them to pitch spells, obviously Reprieve's not great against us, but basically I just want to try to run them out. Okay, Ornithopter is a card. I think I'm just going to attack for 1 with the Yawgmoth here. All right. Now, if they do have Suppression Field and a bunch of stuff like that, I'm not happy, but can only do so much. And sometimes you just run into very strange things in the league. They did mulligan too, so the Solitude put them down an additional card, which is what we want to see. Chalice the Void. So I'm going to flash this in now. Okay, so this is a Chalice. A Chalice, like a Chalice, Solitude, yeah, Lotus Field. Okay, so this is a horrible matchup for us. Yeah, I mean that's it, right? This is just a super bad matchup. We don't have a lot of tools for this matchup. Okay, so they are Sacred Foundry, so I could see bringing in the Solitudes here. Stoneforge, okay. So we can Stoneforge, grab Hammer, and then so we attack here. Yeah, so I'm just going to attack for 1 here. And we're going to get, I think, another Hammer off of this Stoneforge. It is nice that if they have Ephemerate is now countered by Chalice. Of course, the bad part is if they untap, have a land, they can hardcast Solitude, but whatever. Forge Anew, of course, is a sicko draw as well, because it would also like let us cast the Hammer we're going to grab off the Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, so we're definitely casting Stoneforge Mystic. I can't imagine we're getting anything besides Hammer. I just, so we can, because we can put in the Hammer through the Stoneforge activation, which we'll get around the Chalice. And then, so activate Yawgmoth, attack. Just trying to think if there's a reason. I don't think there's a reason not to play the land here, so I'm not going to worry about it. Obviously, if they have the answer to the Stoneforge, Blood Sun's annoying for sure, but we still do get to crack in for 11 with the Ornithopter, and then you draw a card. Whew, okay. Yeah, so we can thank Aspiring Spike for this monstrosity, which is just such a bad matchup. They're going to play the ring here. Lose all abilities. Okay, so this cannot be activated anymore. Okay. Maybe nothing? I'd be a fan of nothing. I would also take a Pure Steel Paladin here. If we did draw Pure Steel Paladin, we would play Paladin off of Plains, immediately equip the Colossus Hammer to the Ornithopter, and then we would be able to activate the Stoneforge to put in the second hammer, draw a card, and attach to the Ornithopter. I assume it's the ring, but prismatic ending, X equals 2. Yep. Yeah, no reason to flash this in. So now we need to find a paladin, or either a paladin or a Forge Anew. That's not great. I think I am just going to attack for the... Yeah, okay, just making sure. I think I am just going to attack for... Well, we could just attack for 2. I think it's worth it, because we might put in this hammer. So yeah, just attack for 1 point of damage. And I will... I don't think it's correct to run out the Ornithopter here. Yeah, okay. Fable is annoying. So I probably am just going to put the hammer in, because the Cigar Desade is not going to resolve through the Chalice. And then if we hit either Forge Anew or Paladin, we're in really good shape. If we hit Stoneforge Mystic, then we can go Stoneforge. Ugh. Yeah, so I'm gonna move this over here. Yeah, we needed to hit not we needed to hit not what we've drawn, so it's fine. Yeah, unfortunately this matchup pretty terrible. Blood Sun, of course, also does just KO our silly little Urza Sagas as well. And I will play out this Ornithopter. Yep. Valakut Awakening. So interestingly, Esper Sentinel's actually kind of good in the matchup. So they drew 2 off of that. Now they're going to get 2 loot. And I can just 6 here. So when we're looking to sideboard, I do kind of like the Solitudes here. I'm pretty medium on the Surges and the Needle, to be honest. I might bring in the Needle, probably bring in the Surge, because it is a Fury deck. Chalice on 2. Okay, so we need a Forge Anew like now. Like I said, this matchup seems just atrocious. That's okay though. I've seen weirder things happen than us win. Okay, probably another prismatic ending. Okay, on the Shadow Spear, you got it. I mean, I'm not blocking. That seemed kind of spewy, honestly. I don't like. Okay. Obviously not playing the Sentinel into the Chalice, so yeah, attack for 1. Yeah, I mean, we just want to find Forge Anew specifically, or more lands that aren't Urza Saga. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty terrible. And so this is an example of a matchup where I'm just like, I'm not bringing in Strict Proctor, 1, because it makes their Lotus Fields better, but 2, because, yeah, like, the One Ring is a pain for sure, but beyond the One Ring, it's a Solitude Fury deck, too. I still don't think I'm going to bring it in. Right now, I'm just going to try to get some more information about their deck. Knowing that they're the One Ring and Solitude and almost certainly Fury, I think turning on their Lotus Fields is too bad. I mean, this game's over in a couple turns, so I am content to take a couple draw steps here. Yep. Okay, yep, no blocks. We've got better things to do with these. Okay, El Schnorn, Mother of Machines. Okay. We are super duper dead, as they say. Okay. So, I have no idea how Strict Proctor works it with El Schnorn, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be completely honest. I have no idea how that interacts. I think I do want the Surges and the Solitudes. I don't think I want anything else. Maybe the Needle, but I'm not about it. I mostly think we just need to try to kill them as soon as possible, and I don't think that Strict Proctor is the way to do that. Especially since we did see the prismatic endings. Yeah, it's mostly, like, if they didn't have Lotus Field, I would bring in Strict Proctor, but turning on their Lotus Fields is, like, really, really bad for us. Maybe we don't want all the Solitude, just, like, 3 is probably fine. I think Giver of Runes is quite good. We can probably trim a Steel Shaper's Gift and a couple Ornithopters. And maybe the Drum. I do fully expect to get, like, the Suppression Field plus Stony Silence just out of the game, and that's okay. That's something that will happen sometimes. I don't know what else. Maybe I think Esper Sentinel's, like, very good. We can trim, like, 1 Giver. That's probably fine. We aren't bringing in any Hate Bears, and we're bringing the 2 Surges, so yeah. I think this deck is just a heinous matchup for us. I think this hand just doesn't do anything. This is a trap, right? Because we do have an Equipper, we have some protection, but we don't have a hammer. If we don't draw a hammer in, like, the first couple turns, the game anything. This hand is actually fine. I'm gonna bottom the Ornithopter, and then we can just, like, I think the problem might be to just Cauldron them. And the other question is, of course, when are we playing the Saga? And the answer to that might be turn 3, actually. It is nice to know that they are not a dress down deck. Okay, well. Could just go Canopy, Stoneforge, go grab Cauldron, and then the next turn play Saga, Stoneforge. Yeah, and I will just grab Cauldron here. Force the removal on the Stoneforge. It's not like we won't have more. It's not like we won't have more equipment coming down the pipeline, right? All right, Evoked Fury. Do we also have the... Okay, so they did bring in Charmaw. So I would be surprised if they didn't have the... Oh, they just didn't have it again. I'm cool with that. So the question here is if we want to Saga or if we want to Stoneforge again. I kind of like Yawgmoth, Stoneforge. Just keep pressuring their removal at every spot. Also, if they go like, we could Urza Saga here. Yeah, whatever. This might be incorrect, but whatever. Make a decision. And I think I am just going to deploy this hammer right now because we do know that they are a Chalice deck. And I would be shocked if they brought Chalice out. So, yeah. So this will kill the Urza Saga. That's fine. Draw a card. So next turn, so they probably are killing the Stoneforge as well. Is what it is. Okay. Pitching Lost to Legend. Yep, you got it. Honestly, I'm not that sad about what's happened. So just Yawgmoth, Stoneforge, play Sentinel, yeah. I'm gonna get the, I think we get a Shadow Spear here. Yeah, I kind of like Shadow Spear, and I like deploying the Sentinel as well. Kind of go from there. Note that we don't have the Yawgmoth kill available to us because of the Blood Sun. Okay, we draw a card here. That's pretty nice. Okay, there we go. There we go. So this turn we get to... Whoa, okay, so we have a backup as well. And so I'm going to put the Cauldron in first. I think it is worth giving up the 1 card here because then, of course, we can immediately equip the hand. Okay, I'm going to move this here first. And so now we can, we can also move the Cauldron to the Paladin, the Hammer to the Sentinel. I kind of like that. Then we're like guaranteed splitting up damage. We can't make it lethal no matter what we do. We do it like this because, all right, sure. This also baits them into killing the Paladin. Like if they go Solitude, pitch a card to address the, like Solitude, pitch a white card to address the Paladin. I'm like pretty happy about that. So I'm gonna move this probably to Stoneforge. Yeah, that's fine. Like, because I want them to kill the Paladin because we have the backup, right? Note that this is definitely gonna draw a card. So they pitched Blood Sun and Fable here. 1 ring, super annoying. At least we draw a card. Okay. Note we can beat this. They need to string some really nice things together. Ooh, okay. Yeah, and I think I am just gonna go ahead and go off, as the kids say. We have so much mana. Put that there, whatever. Draw. We're going to draw an additional 4 cards here. Always yields. Okay. Oh, yeah, whatever. And I'm going to go ahead and Shadow Spear here, too, because, of course, they are a Chalice deck, right? Okay. Yes. And I'm going to play out this other Sentinel as well. And I think here we can move this over here, this here. This will guarantee we draw like multiple cards off of the Sentinels. And I guess the advantage to leaving the Shadow Spear here is they would need 2 Furies to mop up everything. I'm not going to play the Sigardizade because we do have... because we also have the Solitudes in our deck. So the extra Sigardizade's not doing anything. Might as well just hold it. Note, I didn't attack because my opponent had protection from everything. So not a lot of reason to attack there. Yep, draw 2 cards. You got it. What you got for me? Okay, well, at least we draw 2 cards. Okay, none of those are good. But, like, honestly, I'll take an Amaria's Call. That'd be sick. Because keep in mind, like, all of these creatures now tap for a mana. So, and so against the One Ring, this is kind of the play pattern you need to establish where you actively are trying to basically, so I'm presenting lethal turn after turn after turn, as opposed to, you know, just once or twice. Go. And it is storming now. Hopefully nothing too crazy happens here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think we're just going to be casting Amaria's Call. And if you do hear thunder, that's because we are going to try to bring the thunder here. Yeah. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, whatever. All right. And I think I will leave those there. I'll leave Shadow Spear there. Even the angels are almost lethal. Yeah, and I think I'll leave that there for the same reason. I mean, I guess they're reflection. Well, no, they're indestructible now, so who cares? All right, yep. Yep, no reason to attack because opponent has protection from everything. I was definitely supposed to move the mantle to represent Search of Salvation, though. I will note that. Okay. Yep, draw 2 cards. Yeah, so we have we have enough to just hard move Kaldra without anything else, and then the angels are lethal by themselves. Obviously, like Forge Anew would be the card that would just finish the game up, but who knows? They could have a lot of stuff. They have these Lost to Legends they've shown us. Charma I don't care about. This is at least a weird one. That's a fun little interaction with Bloodstone and Inspiring Vantage. It's just yeah. All right, kill an angel, I would presume. It's what you should do. Oh, opponent. Okay. Well, Amaria's Call text makes all of our creatures that are not angels indestructible, so that's good. It's a little more awkward on Moto because it does show, you know, indestructible on the card, but to be fair, this thing has... Oh, it only has indestructible once? This is garbage. Yeah, I think they... Yeah, so what they could have done was cast the Fury, killed an angel, untapped, and then, like, pass turn, and then they can copy the Fury, and so they're doing that for, I don't know, and copy the Fury to then tag the Paladins. Wow, these draw steps are not kind. For 0, okay. I wonder why. I wonder if they meant to do Chalice on. Okay. Sure. They must have meant to do it for 1. Okay, cool. And so we still won. Somehow. Yeah, I don't know. That was a weird one. I think if they had, you know, read the cards, then we would have been in bigger trouble. I still think it's fine probably to trim this Giver. I could honestly see him trimming these Ornithopters, especially if they're willing to Chalice on 0, which I think was just a mistake. I think they meant to Chalice on 1. And I don't hate bringing in the Gift again, because so keep in mind the thing about Steel Shaper's Gift is it's extra redundancy for your hammers. I don't know if we want these Solitudes. I don't think they're playing Ephemerate because we haven't seen it at all, and they're a Chalice deck. So I'm actually not super high on these. I do wish I could bring in the Proctors because they have a million ETBs, but turning on their Lotus fields is pretty gross. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go bring in the extra drum and the Ornithopter, and just stay kind of leaner to the ground and just try to get there that way. Yeah. And if we get to the stage where they start copying a bunch of creatures with like Fable, then generally I think we're supposed to lose from those spots anyway. So this hand is very, very tempting to keep because Saga, I think, even in the face of the Blood Sun, is pretty good, but this hand doing like just nothing, I think, means we need to throw it back. Yeah, this hand's way better. So probably bottom the Ornithopter, and then we can go turn 1. So when I'm deciding on mulligans, I try to map out like, all right, what do my first 2 or 3 turns look like if we do it like this? And so I think we can also bottom Yawgmoth and then go Ornithopter, Paradise Mantle, equip. I don't hate it. I think killing with Yawgmoth is going to be like super difficult for a number of reasons. Yeah, but I like Forge Anew for a lot of reasons, because if they do Chalice, we can put the hammer in, it'll get countered, and then we... Wow, really? Okay, so I'm getting max punished for the for choosing to keep the Ornithopter, and for keeping the Ornithopter, and for bringing the extra pieces back in. Yeah, so the only reason I figured they would Chalice on 0 is because they have another Chalice for 1. But whatever. So I am going to just go Urza Saga, Stoneforge Mystic, and I will grab a hammer here. I don't think we're grabbing the Cauldra. Like, we need to hit a land like pretty bad. I am, man, got max punished here. I like getting the hammer. Yeah. And if they have all of this into Blood Sun and we don't hit a land, so be it. Okay. Well. Okay, cool. Never punished. Love it. Man, what what a savage beating. I think I am just gonna play out the Paladin here. So Ornithopter's doing nothing, and then we just get in for 1 here. So now we can, yeah, Solitude here as well. Charma. Does it blow up any land? Yeah, okay, of course it does. Please. Oh my god. Okay, so I am trying to figure out if we're supposed to hammer here, Paradise Mantle, or nothing. I feel like we are supposed to hammer here. I don't think it matters though, like, because we can't hit 2 lands next turn. Now if they have more follow-ups, then there's not a whole lot we could do, and that's fine. Like, that's just how the game goes sometimes. It's like, well, now I wish I had a Solitude over this stupid Ornithopter. I figured game 2, when they saw like 0 Ornithopters, they would be less inclined to Chalice on 0, but I guess they were that worried about the Paradise Mantle. I don't know. I think I'd almost rather just have 2 Chalice on 2s here if I'm then. Okay. Do we have a Solitude here? Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, you're supposed to tag the Stoneforge there, I do believe. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm about to pack this in for sure. So I think we just hammer here. It will get countered. And then I think we try to hope to draw a Forge Anew next turn. Or, like, we just need to draw runner lands, right? And I think I do have to trade off with the Solitude here if... it's pretty close. I'm content to concede there. Yeah, so they had the Chalice on 0 to max punish our keep, into the Chalice on 1, into the Blood Sun to blow up our Saga, into Charma, into Solitude. So I don't think there's much we can do. I think that matchup is like pretty heinous. But going to try to come back, see how round 2 goes. All right, we are back for round 2. No companion revealed by the opponent. We will be on the play. This hand looks pretty awesome. Yeah, we get to go turn 1 Giver, turn 2 Stoneforge, probably off of the Saga. We'll see what they do, though. That could definitely change how we want to sequence our lands. They did keep 7, so this could be a little spooky, but we'll see. Even if it's Tron, I think we're in like okay shape. So Blackleaf Cliffs tells me very likely to be Scam. Is Scam, how do we want to sequence? I think I'm just going to go like, because if they had the Grief Scam, they would have Grief Scammed on 1, right? Because we were tapped out. So they are probably not going to Grief Scam. They could Fury Scam us, in which case I do want the Stoneforge out. And I think I'm just going to go get a hammer here because we do have like multiple paladins. Yeah, I'm kind of about that. And so like, considering they didn't have the removal spell, or they chose not to use it, it is very, very tempting to get Cauldra, but I think we have a pretty good just like hammer sequence lined up. And so, okay, well, so they should definitely have done this after the Stoneforge resolves, because now in no world am I... yes, I will get a hammer of the extra large size. Okay, so yeah, now next turn it's just going to be like Yawgmoth, make a construct, make another construct, and then potentially kill them. We'll see. We might only make 1 construct, but when your opponent on like Black-Red X isn't pressuring you, I like just making as many constructs as possible. And if you can hear a rumbly, that is not in my tumbly. I ate dinner, that is winter, or that is the weather outside. Okay, cool. So Fury Scam here on the single Stoneforge. I'm like pretty happy about this. Yeah, sure. And they pitched Seasoned Pyro, which, man, Seasoned Pyro in a orcish Bowmaster world is wild. I know people are still doing it, but whew. Thankfully, it also was Malakir Rebirth, not one of the Undying effects, so it's only a 3/3, not a 6/6, or not a 4/4. All right, so I am going to Yawgmoth here. So we Yawgmoth, make a construct, and then even if they kill the construct, or even if they Blood Moon us, so if we're not going to make a construct now, obviously, if they Blood Moon us, we will be left with Yawgmoth Plains, 1 dude there, and then we can go Paladin off Plains. They'll be tapped out if they Blood Moon. We'll play Paladin, Colossus Hammer, draw a card, Mantle, draw a card. That seems like pretty good. Yeah, I'm about this. Yeah, and I don't think it does not make, so I would play out the Mantle here if basically it made the sizing difference on the constructs. So if it made a construct into a 4/4 instead of a 3/3, then I would consider doing the Paradise Mantle here. But I think I will just take the extra card since we're basically never blocking with the construct here. And of course, if they don't Blood Moon us, I'll just make another construct and kind of go to town, because Urza Saga, easily one of the best tools we have against these like red-black Scam decks. And we will get to see, hopefully, why I generally say we don't need Sanctifier against Scam. Scam has a lot of answers to Sanctifier nowadays because they've learned they need to. They did miss their 3rd land drop as well, which is pretty nice. And so, okay, no answer. So I am just going to make another construct here. Yeah, so I think they have like Lightning Bolt that they're considering, pointing at the construct right here. Okay. They do not. If they don't kill anything now, I think I might just get... Ooh. Okay, yeah, so kind of like getting Shadow Spear here. Okay, so these are the times when you really want to plan out your turn. So if we get Drum, right, we can go... it doesn't change anything. So, I mean, Shadow Spear is really good. I think considering we already have the hammer in hand and we're kind of in the mood to race here, I'm about the Shadow Spear life. And I will actually play out the Mantle here, because Okay, sweet. That just stuck. Hammer too. Can also just crack in for 4. I don't hate it. We have played our land for turn. Yep. Yeah. So if they have a way to get delirium plus heat, then they're gonna kill our idiots anyway, right? And if they, yeah, I mean, I'll just play this out, deal the extra point of damage. Playing this out, of course, so the construct grows. I don't want to pay to equip the mantle to the construct because I want to attack with the construct. And the plan, I want to note, is not to block here on the Fury, because if they are able to, I don't know, like it's you could reasonably block on the Fury depending on what they have, but I just don't think it's worth it. Yeah, so we'll take a chunk of 6 here, and I'm just gonna play out the Paladin first. 6. Ooh. Okay, and there is a world where we don't need to bolt in the Emeria's Call, but I don't think that world is the one we're living in. So, what do we got? I think opponent is figuring out their life choices right now. They didn't hit a 3rd land, which is definitely a thing that can just happen with Scam, especially like, all right, this was probably one of their mana sources. They run about, I think, 20 total lands. I don't know if this person's running the Malakir Rebirth as additional like supplemental lands, or if it's part of the 20, in which case, like, yeah, it's just something that's going to happen. All right. Well, let's start here. And first things first, move the hammer to a construct. Not worried about Unholy Heat right here because, frankly, they are pretty far away from Delirium. They have exactly one mana value. And like these two by themselves will kill right now. And keep in mind, we can also animate the Yawgmoth to turn these into 6/6s, bolt this in, play the hammer, and then these are both 7/7s, so it's lethal. Like, we have lethal in a lot of different ways. Okay, so... Okay, well, I'm going to move this to the other one, because I feel like dividing up is the better option here. And the other question here is... I don't think it's worth bolting here. I'm just going to play out this. If they have 2 fatal pushes, then we might. But if they don't have exactly 2 more fatal pushes on top of the first one, okay, cool. So pretty happy there. Okay, so against Scam, I like Solitude because, like we saw there, sometimes they just go for a very aggressive turn, 1 or 2 Fury Scam, and then you just Solitude it, and then they just, like, their deck doesn't do anything. Soother Salvation, because it counters all the Grief Scam, the Fury Scam. It's incredible. It's like, I don't know what else you want. And I like the Needle because oftentimes they have EE, Engineered Explosives. So the question is, what are we cutting? Ornithopters are terrible because they don't block Ragavan well, and they just aren't a meaningful, impactful card. I have seen people saying, oh, let's cut Esper Sentinel instead of Ornithopter against, like, the Bowmaster deck, because Orcish Bowmaster almost guaranteed to be in my opponent's deck. But here's the thing, right? Orcish Bowmaster, I agree. It kills Esper Sentinel, confirmed. But Ornithopter doesn't do anything. It can't block Ragavan, so they have no reason to try to kill it. It doesn't even pitch to Solitude, so, like, a late Esper Sentinel draw can just pitch to Solitude. Yeah, so that's kind of where I lean on it. I like Giver quite a bit. It's pretty nice. I think the Steel Shaper's Gift is pretty unnecessary, and I'm fine going down to one of the drum effects, so trimming the mantle and the drum in this matchup, because a lot of times it will go long, and so just having a density of impactful cards is just more important, even though I am boarding in some 5-drops, but in reality, those aren't 5-drops. Those are pitch spells. All right. So let's go. And of course, I'm not bringing in Strict Proctor because the evoke triggers happen like this, right? So you evoke, the sacrifice trigger is put on the stack, and the ETB is put on the stack, and then both get countered unless you pay 2 for each one. So they choose not to pay the 2 for the sacrifice effect, meaning they get to, the creature gets to stick around, but they do pay for the ETB. So like the Fury dealing 4. They will keep. So this is a tough hand because we are not doing anything, but we have multiple surges a Solitude, a Sigardizade. I think I'm going to keep and hope it works. This is definitely close, but okay, they mulligan to 5, so I'm liking this hand more and more. And if they don't grief scam us, then they won't be able to grief scam us the entire game. And I definitely do have these games go long enough to where I just start hard casting Solitude, right? So we already have 3 lands rolled up. Yeah. So I will note, if they don't play, like if they don't discard us on turn 1, okay. So they're a white splash as well. My guess is that's for like Prismatic Ending, so they can answer Sanctifier, but it could be for a number of other things. So I am just going to go Plains Pass here. You know, I know I'm, you know, leaving up the aid, or, you know, throwing that mana away, but I think it's more important to, like, so if they go to grief scam us, we just get to like Surge of Salvation, into Sigardizade. Okay. Well, it's like not really my favorite draw, but I will play out the aid here, and we'll see what happens. So they could also untap and Prismatic Ending the Sigardizade, which I would probably... I'm not sure if I'd Surge that. It depends on what else they do. Okay, so no third land either. Or still no second land, rather. Okay. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and play Plains Sentinel. Now, see, obviously this is not a normal game, but note that Sentinel can do things here. It can draw us extra cards. It's pressuring our opponent's mana. We could have pitched it to the Solitude if we really wanted, even though I think the Solitude's like 100% to get hard cast this game. Yeah, so this is a weird one. This is not like a great show. Okay, yeah. Well, if they like push the Sentinel here, that would be pretty aggressive. So note, I probably should have played the land after combat, whatever. All right, so obviously this hand was medium, and our opponent just hasn't had a functional draw. Obviously, you know, you're never sad when your opponent's deck doesn't function, but I would have preferred to play a game, so I guess I am a little sad. In leagues, I'm sad. In an event, I wouldn't be sad. I'll take the free W. Ooh, is this a where? Okay, or a tear? Yeah. I never remember which half is. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm just gonna hammer plus Surge here. I'm trying to figure out like if I actually care that much about the aid. I think I do. I think it's worth doing this. Yeah, what a dagger, knowing that the tear drew me the hammer too. So I will draw a card unless they pay 11, which seems unlikely to happen. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm gonna do this for sure. Yeah. And the reason, of course, I liked running out the hammer last turn was because, yeah, okay, this game's over. Was because it meant that any red removal they have, I don't have to fight over, right? Because so say they untap and they have lightning bolts. Now their lightning bolts don't do anything. Whereas if I had chosen to hold the hammer in my hand, and I don't think there is a reason, then we just kind of get blown out. So yeah, all right. Well, I don't think match one was kind of interesting. Match 2, I think, was less interesting, and but we will see if we can get more interesting for round 3. All right, we are back for round 3. We are on the draw, but this hand is obviously not perfect. But like we have 2 hammers and a Quipper and an Yawgmoth, so I'm like almost never throwing this hand back. We also have a lot of draws that just really get things going kind of nutty. Like I'll take a drum. Drum would be sick. An opponent did mulligan to 6, so I like it more. So we are almost definitely running out this hammer on 1. So this is, I want to say it's Yawgmoth, but this is a weird Yawgmoth hand of just like turn 1 tapped tomb pass. Oh, that's a fun one. Okay, so yeah, I'm definitely running out the hammer now. So now it's probably turn 2 Yawgmoth Stoneforge. Can't quite kill on 3. Okay, it's definitely Yawg. Okay. I mean, obviously we could lose here, but I mean, even if I knew I was playing against Yawg, I would be keeping this hand. Okay, so we are definitely Yawgmothing here. playing Stoneforge, and the question is, what are we getting? We might get... I kind of want to get a Cauldron here. I really don't hate getting a Cauldron, because then they're almost forced to kill this Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, I kind of dig it. Yeah. Yeah, oftentimes Yawg doesn't have a lot of removal game 1 as well. Or 2 or 3, usually. I have tended to find a lot of spot removal game 2 and 3, but I think that's more an outlier than the norm. So yeah, I'm getting the Cauldron. Just a really powerful play here, of course. Okay. Cauldron also lets us go, like, Plains, activate Stoneforge, put in Cauldron, crack in for 5, and then the next turn we can crack in for 15, because we can go, like, forge anew, equip the Colossus Hammer to the Cauldron. And just pressuring their life total is really important. Yeah, because Yawgmoth is kind of a fragile kill because of the Bowmaster. Okay. Grist, yep. All right, so they have to do this. Okay. This is not bad at all, honestly. Yeah, so they had to sack their Wall of Roots to kill the Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, so now we get to just probably run out this this Forge Anew and represent lethal next turn. Whoa, okay. So are they dead? Because we can go... So this turn we go Forge Anew. Next turn we can play Yawgmoth, animate other Yawgmoth, attack them, move the hammer to the Yawgmoth, and then we have Surge up as well. Yeah, that seems real good. I do wonder if it matters if we go second Yawgmoth here. So hopefully they don't have Beseiju, but if they do, they do. Of course, if we get to untap, then we're in incredible shape, and we get to hold up Surge. I guess hopefully they don't have second Beseiju, right? Note that if they do play out Yawgmoth here, then we can Surge pre-animating, because then the Yawgmoth will just have Hexproof. And we are safe. Strangle Root, okay. Okay. So this tells me they have Bowmaster. So. Okay. So I'm definitely floating mana regardless with that one. So if we Surge right now, if they have Bowmaster, so they can't Bowmaster and Beseiju us, right? Like, so those are the only two cards I'm concerned about here. If we animate Yawgmoth first and attack, we can just Surge in response. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it does not matter if we Surge. And of course, we don't have to do double flying because we can attach this at instant speed after blocks have been declared, or rather, no blocks in this case. Yep. And here comes the Bowmaster and or Beseiju. Yep, absolutely not. Fun fact, now they also have to shoot themselves. Because I have hexproof and all my things have hex. Alright, cool. So we stole game 1 against Yawg, and that's what I would call it, just theft. Okay, so Solitudes are great because their combo is focused around a creature. Surge of Salvation is great because it's protection for our combo, and they are a Force of Vigor deck almost always. So we want to bring in these 7. The cards we want to cut are Esper Sentinel, because that card is actively bad because 1, they like don't have that many non-creatures, but 2, if they do, it'll like trigger their Bowmasters. It's just you know, bad time for everyone involved. That's us. For them, it sounds like a great time. I kind of want the Steel Shaper's Gift. I'm fine trimming 1 to 2 Ornithopters. We could trim a Giver. A Giver giving like pro green to punch through damage can be relevant. And of course going like Giver into Stoneforge is really relevant as well. But I think that's what we're going to do. You could trim the Steel Shaper's Gift. You could trim another Ornithopter. You could trim a Mantle, a Drum. But I think this is kind of where I want to be right now. So we'll go with that. If I see random stuff like Gilded Goose, then I'm more likely to want to cut the Ornithopters. It's like, all right, well, the flying doesn't matter either. Because I think a lot of them have been cutting Birds of Paradise because Bowmaster is around to plink their little dudes. One thing I do want to also call out is it's kind of like how Ameria's Call is a land that pitches to Solitude. Steel Shaper's Gift is kind of like a hammer that pitches to Solitude. Oh, man. Okay, so hear me out. Hear me out. Yawg is a tough matchup, and you generally have to get a little bit lucky to win. So I'm going to hope to draw some... and they kept 7, yeah. I'm going to hope to draw a couple lands here. Because we do get to just go land, hammer. If we hit another land, we get to go Stoneforge, probably grab Cauldron, maybe? We'll see. And we have triple Solitude. Triple Solitude is pretty good. And also we will simply draw lands. So, pretty straightforward. Okay, it's a Yawgmoth. All right, there we go. See, everything's great. And I'm playing the hammer here because we do have the Forge Anew lined up. And so they could have Wall of Roots here. They do. That's like pretty annoying. And I am gonna just go Stoneforge grab. Ooh. I mean, I'm still... Yeah, Stoneforge grab Cauldron. So one thing I want to know is if the opponent plays Grist and ticks down, if you can kill all their creatures or get rid of all their creatures, then the Grist does nothing. Because the only part of the cost is the -2 loyalty. The sacrifice a creature is part of, I think, the resolution, but we'll see. So if the opponent does go Grist minus, I will probably be solituding both of their creatures, probably pitching Sigardazade and third Solitude. Obviously not my favorite line, but I mean, then we also get to kill the Grist, so Zula Port. Okay, so they can't. Sweet. All right, so we get to stick the Cauldron. It's like pretty exciting. If they have Haywire Might, then boo. All right, yeah. And so being able to exile the Zulaport means that they can't combo kill us. There's just a lot of problematic things. And so it is very tempting to just go like Solitude, pitch Aid, because I think Aid is the worst card, to tag the Wall of Roots here because they are clearly choked on mana. I think I'm going to do that right now. I guess we can do it in our own end step. Yep. And I'm leaving the Paladin because we already have 2 artifacts. I'm leaving the Forge Anew because it'll be good at basically every spot. Tag the wall here. And if they get a Haywire Might here, I will probably exile it as well. Okay, yeah. So they have no... So the question is, what are we pitching? Probably the Paladin, right? Yeah. Yep. And I'm doing it right now because they don't have any mana, so they can't activate the Haywire Might. And they only gain 1 life because it's getting exiled, not killed. Pitch spells are powerful. And also, like, keep in mind Force of Vigor because Cauldron's indestructible. Force of Vigor doesn't do it. Opponent's just, like, in a pretty bad spot here. Yep, I will take 2 points of damage. Okay. Land? Okay, I'm gonna go for the kill. I'm simple. Alright, put it on the indestructible thing. Alright, 15 ya. Woo, let's go. Alright, there we go. Yawgmoth, unwinnable. I say play Solitude. Alright, I will see y'all in round 4. Alright, we are back for round 4. Hey, it's YungDingo. Wonder what he's playing. No idea, but I like the dude. I know he was pooping on Proctor playing 4-color the other night, so I wonder if we'll get to test it firsthand. Wish him luck. He's a cool dude. I dig the vibe. As this is a streamer match, it usually does have a little bit of lag because they are, talking to their audience like good entertainment. Probably be pausing a little bit more. All right. Okay, so this hand doesn't have a hammer, but it does have Giver into Paladin plus Mantle for a redraw. I think I will keep this and kind of hope. Okay. Ragavan. All right, well, let's play the Giver out. That's a fun one. That's a fun one. And I, of course, will snap block if given the chance. I cannot imagine that I get the chance, but, you know, man can dream. We get the chance. We get the chance. Especially when they don't have black mana up, so they can't, like, feign death it either. Obviously, they can play a second one, but whatever. Ooh. Ooh, Thought Squeeze me? All right, so probably Paladin? Question mark. Could be Aid, though. Okay. Paladin checks out. Good take. Good take. That's a fun one. Moto Bug. See, I'm just going to go Yawgmoth, Stoneforge here. Grab Hammer. If we go Aid, Ginger Brute. Next turn we can go Plains, Stoneforge, Hammer. Yeah, I think that's actually better. What a weird game. And we don't share the information about our hand. Get my Plink on. Yeah, because note, the Paradise Mantle will cost 0 mana to equip because of the Aid, so we'll have 4 mana next turn, so we will be able to go Stoneforge. Ooh, that's exciting. Is this the sweet Tyvar deck? I think it's the sick Tyvar deck. Oh, that's so sick. Can I kill him? Okay. So, yeah, this is just LED, right? Yeah. Okay. So, we play Plains, Mantle, put Mantle on the Ginger, play Stoneforge off Plains. Yeah, can't quite kill. We can also play the Sentinel, I believe. So if we go Plains, play Sentinel, yeah, we can. Okay, we gotta map out this whole turn. So we play Stoneforge off of probably Plains Yawgmoth, grab Hammer. Unfortunately, we don't get that. Could also reasonably just like play Sentinel. Nah. I think we just like attack for 1, and if they don't block, then we hit them for 11. Yeah. All right. Yeah, like, to be totally honest, I don't know how all this deck works. So we'll see if this is good enough. I feel like it is probably not, but who knows? I saw this deck and just kind of looked over it because, like, Diamond Lion plus Tyvar is super sick. But he did also miss his third. There we go. Okay, yeah. So we probably just cast this right now because whatever. Put it on the Stoneforge, YOLO Swaggins. Okay, and it does get exiled. Yeah, so it's an Echo deck. Wow, that was a really, really bad 7. It looks like Dingo's 7 was also pretty atrocious. So yeah, there you go. So I have no idea what's going on. So that's fun. Drannith Magistrate's probably pretty good though. Yeah, I don't know, man. Thopter's probably not great because I would imagine things are going to get a lot grindier post board. I think I probably want probably a Needle. No, I mean Needle doesn't stop. Needle naming Tyvar is pretty good though. I don't know. Trim a Steel Shaper's Gift. Maybe we don't want all 4 Magistrates, but 3 seems fine. Couple Solitudes, probably fine. Yeah, whatever. All right. Oh, I almost definitely want the other Surges, though. So, cut the Solitudes, maybe. We probably want the Solitudes, and probably just trim the Mantle. And we want to trim an Esper Sentinel, because, this is such a Bowmaster specific. Nah, I like drawn cards. I'm fine to trim, a Giver, though. Whatever, sure. I have the extra Givers, so that way when I bring in the Hate Bears, they're more protected. Cuts Giver immediately. This hand, I cannot imagine that this hand is good enough because it is 5 land. I'm gonna keep, and I'm gonna get super savagely punished when he takes the Amaria's Call with the Thoughtseize, but it's content. Okay, well that does not do that. So bolt my So weirdly, I kind of want to play the Amaria's Call anyway, just so I know I have 2 white sources rolled up. This also hard signals that I have that I have no other white sources in my hand, so that's a fun little tricksy poo. But really, I just want to make sure that I don't get my other white source Thoughtseize. Still maybe incorrect, but we'll see. It was probably correct to just go plain Sentinel. If I didn't have my mana tied up every turn, I would have also probably held up on playing the Sentinel so I could hold up Surge. But because we're not getting scammed, I think it's so he could Tyvar here. I think that's honestly not too bad. Well, I'm not countering anything, but I might get to draw a card, which I like drawing cards, so that's cool. I say this before all my creatures get murdered by Echo of Eons plus Bowmaster, which would be pretty awesome, honestly. This is sweet, if nothing else. Looks like a Tyvar. Yep, I would like a card, please. Untap the dude. Yep. Everything checks out there. If I had any way to protect the Sentinel, right? If I had any way to protect the Sentinel, or the Paladin, I'd be about it. Weirdly, I kind of want to just go Yawgmoth pass, and then we get to hold up Surge, so if he does go for like a combo turn with Orcish Bowmasters, then we get to Surge, and then he has to kind of hit his own stuff, which obviously you can tag your own. After the first trigger, you can tag your own army and state-based actions check, but yeah, I think I will in fact do that. And no attacks because I'm not a fool. The Bowmussy. All right, well, I'm gonna Surge. Okay, so probably shoot the Delighted Halfling. Yep. So now if you have like land plus, okay, yeah, or you can just do that. Do we have the horsey or the Diamond Eye Lion? We do. Okay, I feel smart holding up the Surge. Okay. All right, I would like another Surge, please. I think we're super dead. I'm just like pretty sure we are incredibly dead here. But we shall see. I believe, I think we get the Cauldron here and Prey. I'm pretty cool with Cauldron and Prey. All right, well, Surge is good, but we needed another Surge. Do we have a Bolt and Blow Me Out with the Esper Sentinel? Thoughtseize, yep. And so I will probably get to draw a card, and then they will shoot that. Okay. So I hate everything. Oh, shoots me? Okay. He might just be able to kill me, depending. Yep. Forge anew, please. Oh, crap. Do we also have the Echo? Okay. So no Echo currently. Oh, that's pretty sick, though. All right, well, we're incredibly dead. Okay, so Dranith, pretty important. That was pretty sick. That was awesome. If I'm gonna die, that's a really cool way to do it. Yeah, I mean, Solitude actually seems like quite good too. Just being able to tag the Bowmaster. I kind of like all those. What do we want to cut? Is the Needle's, I think, good enough. Weirdly, I kind of just want to cut Sentinels and bring the Giver back in, which I don't. Yeah, just like make their Bowmasters a lot worse. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this because Giver into like any of our Hate Bears is also really nice. Yeah, I'm cool. Sounds like not super fast, but we are on the play, so I think I'm about it. Yeah, so just like turn 1 aid. And if we find a creature, then I'm like pretty happy too. Yep. Yes, this is just like, yeah, I guess it's 4 color. It's not even Jund. It's straight 4 color. I guess the blue's probably just for the Echo. So yeah, it's like Jund Echo. Sick. Monkey? Okay, Halfling. I kind of would have preferred Monkey. Okay, well that's worst possible, so I didn't want to draw that. And I don't think I'm Shadow Spearing, but it is a possibility. And yeah, so yeah, I think it's correct to hold the Shadow Spear here. All right. So, okay, that's spooky. could do the thing. Yeah, because 3 for Tyvar. Bring back the Diamond Lion. Yeah, I mean, yeah, no reason to block because that's a 2/2 and this would be a 1/1. Did the math. Look, if I'm gonna take a sick loss, okay. Damn, he didn't have it. That's good content either way, so I'm a huge fan. All right. Can't imagine I'm untapping with this thing. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, no shot I'm untapping with this thing. Yep. Okay, so this was the reason to play out the shadow. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a hammer here. You also have a bolt. It'd be pretty gross. Yeah, looks like also another removal spell. So we need to find a creature. Just, I'm not even picky, just like basically any creature. K-Command, sure. Okay. Fortune looking real sick. Not gonna lie. I think I am just sagaing here. And I'll flash in the Shadow Spear end of turn. Mana, not the issue here for our friendo. Yeah, so okay. And I discard. Oh man, I was hoping he'd make me discard. Just discard this Cauldron. That'd be gas. Okay, so are we playing the Shadow Spear here is the question. So if we play Shadow Spear out, so our next turn we go Plains. Yeah, I think it's just pass here. That's a good one. I'll take that one. Oh wow, that's really nice actually. So now we get to go Giver plus Forge Anew, equip Hammer. Giver plus make a construct. And then next turn we can flash in Shadow Spear. Yeah, I think it's like just Giver plus Forge Anew the Hammer. Then we at least have a blocker as well. Yeah, I think that's got to be correct. We make a construct. It'll be a 1/1 that we can turn into a 3/3 at instance. I think this has got to be correct. Yeah. All right. So if there's, if we have a fatal push, it's pretty bad, but okay. I mean, if he also has the echo, we're dead, and that's a sick way to go out. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sick. Yep. And I'll let this happen because this is super cool. Oh, it's like actually if we had hit a Solitude, we could have survived here, right? But we did not. Yeah, so if we hit like a couple Solitudes there, because we can tag our own dude. Yeah. All right. GG's. That was a sick way to go out. Yeah. Okay, so Dranith was definitely correct to bring in. And so, sometimes you don't know what on earth you're playing against, and you get bodied game 1, and then you pull it together game 2, and then almost game 3. I like how we played game 3. I think it was pretty tight. Surge would have been real nice that last turn as well, but obviously couldn't have done everything. I did like cutting Esper Sentinel in that matchup. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I guess. Oh wow, if he had chosen to make us discard with K command instead of no, he had Thoughtseize, that's right. So he knew about, I don't remember if he knew about Cauldron and Forge Anew, but either way, those are sweet games, and I'm glad it was recorded. I'll see y'all in round 5. All right, and we are back for round 5. Let's see if we can scrap together. We will not scrap it together with a 0-land hand, I'll tell you that much. This hand's just like, it does nothing. Actual nothing. Like, yeah, it's got a Giver and a Sentinel, but like, if I'm on the play, I'm keeping this because the turn 1 Sentinel. I mean, all we need to do is find a hammer. I think we can do better. I think this hand also sucks, but I think we're keeping. So I'm gonna bottom Mantle and Call probably. Yeah, that seems fine. Yep. All right. What you got for me? Burn? Looking rather burny right now. All right, very burny. Cool. So we'll turn 1 Sentinel, turn 2. All right. Colossus Hammer is okay. And then next turn we get to Yawgmoth plus Drum. And then we can Surge to like gain, you know, a few points of life here. See what we find. If we can find like an Urza Saga off the top with this Goblin Guide, that'd be nice. Universe, let's go. So we're just going to take 3 here. Opponent definitely did not have a second land, otherwise they would have absolutely played it. So yeah, Saga, 100%. I'm just going to play out as much crap as I can. And I think I will play out the Hammer. Simply to increase the size of my constructs. I do take a point of damage that way, but this turn we get to block and then surge, and surge prevents all red and or black damage basically to creatures I control. So I get to block. If they shoot me, then I get to respond with surge. It counters the burn spell and it fogs the attack. Okay, so we'll see what we draw off the Goblin Guide. Amaria's Call. Damn. All right, that put that in the, man, I wish it was a plains category. All right, so block like this and this. See if they do anything. I'm putting the Ornithopter here to incentivize them to do something. Oh, beautiful. All right, so now we get to draw a card and effectively gain 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 life here, because the damage will be prevented to both of my creatures, and the lightning bolt is countered because we gain hexproof from the surge. And all of a sudden things are looking like a lot better for us. So can we... So I don't have Solitude in the deck currently in game 1. So we could play... I think I'm just going to play out this Yawgmoth anyway. And I wonder if we chip in here. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. It would be a 5/5. That's pretty big. I kind of like, yeah, just attack with the Esper Sentinel here. Just attack with the Esper Sentinel, and then when they attack, we use these 3 lands to make a construct, block, and we can always activate the Yawgmoth to turn it into an artifact. To pump the construct if we need. But this Ornithopter, I'm fine if we're just gaining a couple life, because the plan will just be throw a Shadow Spear on the construct. And if they don't attack, then I definitely don't have to consider cracking the canopy. They know about the Amaria's Call in our hand. Unfortunately, Kaldra is not not where we want to be. I'm glad we do get to see the burn matchup, because this is definitely a game, a match where this burn is just a lot more popular than it's been in the past. And so now we get to block here. Okay, Searing Blaze, the construct, and me. I get to draw a card. Okay, so we'll take 3. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and animate here. This will turn into a 6/6. We'll get to eat the Monastery Swift Spear, and the construct will survive. Okay. And they're tapped out. Yeah, this game's like pretty over. And we're gonna have to tap this regardless. So it's gonna make a construct this way. We'll go get the Shadow Spear, play out the plains, equip the Shadow Spear here. Yeah, and we're like, equip it there, attack for 8, 9 damage, gain 8 life. The game's just over. Yeah, so opponent kept a 1-lander, which is totally defensible, but it just did not work out in that case. So Solitude and Surge. The other nice thing is, because Hammer is like so unpopular right now, which, fair, you got to be a madman to play Hammer right now, but it's me. I'm the madman. The Deflecting Palms are largely out of burn right now, and so I will still try to play around it when I can, but otherwise, like, who cares? I actually think I'm going to bring in Needle, because they're on usually a bunch of the Roiling Vortex, so being able to turn off the turning off of life gain is pretty good. So we'll trim a Mantle. The Ornithopters, once again, are bad. I think the Cauldra is pretty bad, and there we go. So one more card. I don't think I want to trim the Drums or the Gift. We could trim. I think I'm going to trim an Esper Sentinel on the draw. Yeah, that seems fine. Could also trim the gift, but I think this is fine. Yeah, we have counterspell / fog. As long as I have blockers. Yeah, and we have a solitude in case we need to pitch it early. Yeah, this hand's great. this hand's awesome. I would like to draw a drum. So the question is, are we going to solitude this? And I don't think we are. Certainly not before. Now I kind of want to just solitude. I think I am. Yeah, I'll just solitude, pitch a... I think we pitch a surge here. I think it's fine. It's not my favorite, but I really want to keep both the Stoneforge and the Paladin around. So there you go. And the reason I'm doing that is I think if it's on the play, I'm not going to do that. Wow. But because kind of how things are lining up, Solitude's going to gain me like 6 life there by tagging the Goblin Guide, and I think I am just going to hammer here. I just want my constructs large and kind of go from there. Because one of the best ways to play around Deflecting Palm is actually basically try never to equip your hammer to a construct or anything. And so you just make your constructs into like 4, 4, 5, 5s, and that's usually just plenty. It's like, here's a bunch of damage. It's hard to race. Also lifelink. So they kept a 1 land hand again. I think it was a 7 again. So I'm just going to play out Saga Stoneforge. And I will get the Shadow Spear here. Because if they blow up the yeah, still think I'm going to get the Shadow. And if they do attack for just the 1, I will block. If they bolt me to trade with the Stoneforge Mystic, then so be it. That's fine. Okay. But they have 2 mana now. What do they got for us? Lightning Bolt, probably the Stoneforge Mystic. Yep. All right. Okay. So I don't get the option of blocking. Tear the Saga. That's a beating. Okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. So need to find another white source for sure. But honestly, okay. I think I'm just gonna play out the aid here. Red, white, Boros Charm. Okay. Yep. Yeah, so I take 2 here. I'd prefer not Amaria's Call, but I will take any land off the top. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, and I'm just gonna do this now to try and draw a land, or just to get my free draw. Okay, that's a pretty nice pickup. And so next turn I get to Stoneforge plus Hold Up Surge. Okay. Yeah, got that. Bolt my Paladin. Skewer the Paladin. Yep. Not dead though. Note, not dead. I go to 2 here. So this is definitely an instance of I would really like to draw a Solitude or okay, yeah, whatever, that's fine. Yeah, and I'm just gonna get a hammer here. Yeah, and so hopefully they just have the one spell in hand. If they have 2, I don't think we can, but I will block here. Like pretty easy block. Of course, I have 1 canopy land. All right. Well, if you have another spell, then I'm dead, and that's okay. Okay, you did not have another spell, and now you're probably Surge. Do it. Don't think you want to do that. Nope, don't want to do that, friend. Rift Bolt. Okay, we win the game. Cool. So, aw, man, we are 1 shy. Yeah, wow, we're 1 short. Oh, what a beating. Yeah, either 1 more land or so we need to. I'm gonna put a stop there. And so I think I am just gonna hammer the Stoneforge now. Yeah, wow, that's insane. Yeah, all right, put the hammer here. Stupid 1 canopy land. I mean, I'm not liking my chances here. Opponent did have kind of the right pieces at the right time, but we shall see. Okay, well, let's Surge. Hopefully they draw like a sorcery Hopefully they draw Skewer the Critics here. Oh, wow. No, they could have just chosen to not cast it, right? Well, let's see if we make it through our upkeep. This is an insane game if we win here. I am glad I pitch cast the Solitude so early. Man, triple Boros Charm so much. The stupid Canopy. There's only one in the deck. Yeah, they had the Wear Tear, Lightning Bolts, like not too crazy. Okay, there's Surge of Salvation is a nutty card, and that's why I play 4. Because Blacksmith Skill, that ain't gonna cut it. We win. Oh wow. Yeah. Okay, so we can't do that. Funny enough. But yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm going to attack you for 12 lifelink. Looks like they conceded. Sweet. All right. So let's go to the deck. Okay. So finished 3-2. Not super exciting, but we played. So we beat Yawgmoth, which was awesome. I hope there were some pieces that kind of helped navigate that matchup. Solitude obviously came up insane there, and I'm glad I was able to showcase that because Yawgmoth is also a deck that's really popped up. We lost to the 2 weird ones, YungDingo's deck, but that was sick. Honestly, I like the red-white deck too. That was pretty sick, even though it was I don't know that I could design a deck that's more favored against this. It's like Solitude, Fury, Chalice the Void, and main deck ways to just start killing our sagas. So I think, if we're just gonna lose that matchup, and that's okay. I was like, wait, where'd my Stone Forge Mystic go? But so unfortunately we didn't get to show off the strict Proctors. You'll just have to take my word. They are good, especially against things like 4-color. Also against like Bring Delight and Scape Shift right now, because Valakut triggers, and this makes that a nightmare. Forge Anew was awesome. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I've really liked this sideboard because it's literally just 3 4-ofs, and then the 3rd and 4th copy of the best protection spell ever printed, and the 1 Pithing Needle. I really like it. This has felt really clean. I kind of like the 1 Steel Shaper's Gift. You could absolutely go 2nd gift. So like the flex spots right now, for me at least, because I think these Forge Anews are like locked. At least 2 copies. At least 1 copy is absolutely just like stock in the deck, and it should be. But right now, I think the slots that I'm like, yeah, you could mess around with these, are kind of like these 4. I really like at least 2 givers, but I kind of like the 3rd. You could just cut the 3rd giver and play a 2nd gift, be a little more linear game 1. But I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. You could absolutely add like a 23rd land, or like a 4th drum effect. I think those are all good. But yeah, I think Drannith's good, Solitude's good, Strict Proctor are all good, and hope y'all enjoyed. I will have a updated sideboard guide / chart, whatever you want to call it, for the August update. But in the meantime, in the Strict Proctor, kind of my thoughts on it, I did include like, hey, these are the matchups I really like it in. And so if you want to check that out, you'll have kind of the answers you're looking for, and I'm always happy to answer questions on there as well. Anyway, hope y'all have a good one, and I don't know, toodaloo. Bye-bye.